everybody, so we're back talking some more Harley Quinn Season 4 with Episode 7. Things this season continue to just ramp up in insanity. Last week, we had all the drama going down at the Legion of Doom, the reveal that Joker at least claims that he killed Nightwing, a lot of that stuff. And that insanity does continue on into this week's episode because, for the most part, this week it is a time travel episode. Before getting into that stuff, however, you still continue to feel bad for Harley because it seems like each and every week we're seeing her mental state just completely deteriorate, and all that does come to a head in this week's episode because she's trying to wrap her head around her sleepwalking while trying to fit into Ivy's extremely busy schedule. Then on top of that, you throw on the Joker drama, him claiming he killed Nightwing, which I still very much doubt, and everyone pretty much also doubts that as well, especially Barbara Gordon. Since a lot of it does feel like a ploy just to try and get back in good with the Legion of Doom members, which it is successful because Joker is playing poker with some of the villains, which does include Dr. Psycho. Dr. Psycho has been one of my favorite characters. I'm still kind of disappointed the last couple of seasons he's been kind of sidelined and not been a major part of the team anymore. So I'm always happy to get to see him. He's in the couple scenes this week, so that was delightful as a longtime fan. Now that the Johns are out of the way, it was awesome to see Ivy and the Natural Disasters finally get to thrive being villains, trying to steal this time sphere in this great action sequence, might I add, and seeing them battle it out with the Justice League, at least until Harley interrupts everything in their skirmish because Ivy won't make time to talk to her. Even if ultimately it wasn't the best idea, I did find it a bit endearing that Harley wants to use the time sphere because she wants to go into the future and speak to their future selves to get advice on their situation, since Ivy and Harley haven't been the best at communicating recently, and that does play into a major theme in this week's episode when they do go into the future. Which, speaking of that, that is when things go awry, when they accidentally use the time sphere and it sends them into 2048 and it's a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Definitely not the future I was anticipating in this universe because it's filled with hostile robot drones controlled by Robin. There aren't very many survivors left at this point, and you have Harley and Ivy actually dead in the future at this point in time, and a group of resistance fighters include one of King Shark's children. But the cool surprise out of all this is the big reveal of who is leading this resistance fighter group, and it's the child of Ivy and Harley. Her name is Neytiri. She's named after Neytiri from the Avatar franchise. At this point in time in the future, they actually got all the Avatar sequels, and it seems like, at least in the few people we've talked about in the series, it's like the greatest franchise of all time, which, hey, I love me some Avatar. I'm very excited for the next couple sequels when they inevitably come out. Hopefully, all of these sequels do come out by 2048 in our universe. Talking more about Neytiri's design, I think Neytiri's design is perfect. She's the perfect mixture of the two of them, and early on, I loved her interactions with her parents and how hilarious and cute it was to see Ivy and Harley react to having a kid and trying to connect with her. Key word, though, is early on. Early on, I quite like Neytiri. Let's talk about subverting expectations, because when we saw Ivy and Harley team up with Neytiri and her squad to try and take out Robin, I was not expecting them to just go and betray Harley and Ivy and hand them over for like a bag of dirt, allowing her parents to be captured in the process. If there is a bright side to having the two of them captured on the brink of death, it does allow them to talk through some of their problems finally, since they really have had pretty bad communication due to their work pushing them apart. Going back to the Joker storyline, since in a sense it is kind of the B plot to episode 7, I feel like a lot of people, especially because we didn't see it happen, there was some skepticism on whether or not Joker really did kill Nightwing, and once again, I think a lot of us were proven right because Dr. Psycho has Joker on his podcast. I love that Dr. Psycho's podcast continues to be a thing in the universe. Barbara Gordon calls into the podcast anonymously to reveal that there's no possible way that Joker could have been the one to kill Nightwing because the timelines don't match up, because at the time of Nightwing's presumed death, Joker was getting tests done. So there's no possible way it could have happened. So in a sense, it's kind of like stolen valor, but applied to supervillains now that Joker is revealed to have stolen a kill from somebody that we still don't know who actually killed Nightwing. But for sure confirmed it was wasn't Joker now, which I think is kind of obvious, but, just for the sake of continuing the story, we have to talk about it. While initially I was disappointed that Neytiri betrayed her mothers and went behind her back and had them almost killed, it made it more satisfying when Neytiri is beaten up by Harley and Ivy and have this big old battle, which probably is odd to say that you're rooting for the moms to beat up their child, but this is a very odd show. The real MVP of this entire exchange is the child of King Shark, because he's the one who helps them get out of that time back to their presumed present day time. Not that it all is really back to normal when they do get back, because turns out when they get back, they're actually a week into the future, and all hell's broke loose because Lex Luthor's done some crazy stuff that we're gonna find out more about next week's episode. But yeah, what a wild time travel adventure this week. I had a lot of fun with this week's episode, but once you get a chance to check out the episode, make sure you share your thoughts down below. How'd you feel about episode 7 of season 4? Did you like the episode? Did you not like the episode? How did you feel about the time travel segment where we got to see the child of Ivy and Harley? How'd you feel about Neytiri? Whether or not, she did kind of betray them in the end in the long run. But either way, show your thoughts down below in the comment section. It's part of the fun is having that conversation with you guys in the comment section down below. And thank you guys, as always, check the videos. I always do appreciate it. Make sure you leave a like on the video and also subscribe to the channel. So update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. But next time, I'll see you guys later.